Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my garden update. Now, I planned on doing this video sooner, but there wasn't actually a lot for me to update you on, and I will say this first time around, growing these things from seed, things that I've never grown from seed before, proved to be rather difficult. Now, as I mentioned in the first video of this gardening series, I am not an expert. This series is kind of just an experiment. It's kind of a garden with me as I learn how to garden. It's not me showing you how to garden. So I definitely made a few mistakes. Not everything has survived, and I will talk you kind of through that. I have video clips of everything so you can see it in its current state. So straight out of the gate, the calendula failed to thrive. I sowed it in the egg cartons, and it was one of the first things to pop up, and it popped up really big and beautiful, and I was like, wow, this is going to go amazing. And then it was getting too big for its egg carton, so I repotted it into a kind of like medium-sized planter, and it just kind of wilted off. It didn't really want to be in that planter, I don't think, and I was shocked because it looked so healthy and it grew very rapidly at the start. So when that happened, I was a little bit disappointed, and instead of trying to direct sow again, I decided to leave calendula for next year, do more research on how to specifically start calendula from seed, and that's kind of what this whole process is for me. I want to know what plants that I have to research more and what plants kind of are harder to grow from seed. But you can actually sow calendula later in the year, so I might try to sow it in the fall as well and see if it just likes to be sown here in the fall better. A couple things that also failed to kind of just sprout up in the egg carton was the lavender, the chamomile, and the lemon balm. So the lavender just didn't sprout up at all. Not really sure why. I know lavender takes a while. I waited like the full 30 days I think it is to sprout, and just nothing happened. So I decided to direct sow that outside because lavender is pretty hardy, and I was reading the temperatures it requires, and it was those temperatures already outside. So I just direct sowed it into a large pot. Seemed to be doing okay. Some stuff sprouted up. At first I thought it was lavender, but it was weeds, so I pulled those out. It was just kind of like some clover stuff. And now I have a few little sproutlings, and I'm really not sure if they're lavender. I will insert the video clip here. So there's a couple of sprouts this size. There's one over here, and then there's one right here. I also can't tell if that's lavender or weeds, so I'm just kind of letting it develop and see what it turns into. This is the biggest one, and I don't know if this is lavender. I've tried to look at pictures online, and I really can't figure it out. So if you are a plant person, and you can look at that and tell me whether or not it's lavender or if it's weeds, let me know. So it may turn into lavender, it may not. I'm just gonna kind of let it do its thing. It's being watered nicely. It's got a nice amount of sunshine, so I'm just gonna kind of leave it be. The next thing was the chamomile. Now the chamomile sprouted up, but again, once it was repotted, it just failed to thrive. It didn't want to be repotted. So I decided to direct sow the chamomile outside, again, because the temperatures were adequate, and I had a feeling that it would do better just being direct sowed, and by far chamomile is the thing that I'm having the most success with. So I would say that out of all these plants, that has been the easiest one to grow. But here we have the one item that is doing particularly really well outside, and that is the chamomile. I actually am going to have to go through here and pull out some of these because there's way too many in this pot, but I'm gonna wait until they get a little bit bigger to kind of weed out kind of the smaller ones. So the chamomile is doing really, really well. I may even take some of the growth in the pot that I have and replant it into a different pot to kind of get more, because there's just so much of it popping up. Like all of it just popped up. So that's doing really well. And the lemon balm. So the lemon balm just did not want to come up for me. I'm really not sure why, because I know lemon balm is supposed to be a very easy plant to grow, and it's like mint, where like you plant it and it kind of just takes over. But for some reason it does not want to grow for me. So I've tried it in the egg carton, did not pop up. I tried it in a medium-sized pot, did not pop up. So now I'm trying it outside, direct sown into a pot. So far I haven't seen anything, but I'm still hopeful. So the 3 plants that I have kind of started indoors have been doing very well. They're slowly but consistently growing. That was the thyme, the basil, and the holy basil, and all of those are doing very well, and I've been giving them some time outside as well. So then this is my little indoor garden that I am letting get some sunshine outside. I have found that these plants have really enjoyed getting time outside, and that they have been growing a little bit stronger and taller since giving them some time. Now I have to be very careful because they're still very little, and that's why I have them kind of in like partial shade, sun, and I keep rotating them because I don't want them to dry out. So in this one we have the Italian basil, in this one we have the holy basil, and in this one we have the thyme, and in this one we have the rosemary. Now these 3 have kind of been my best plants, and these 3, if you remember correctly, I just sowed these directly into these pots, and they've done really well. I've had to kind of pick a few out to kind of thin them out, but they are doing particularly good, I think. This one I'm getting a little worried about because it looks a little droopy, but it does look green and it's got a lot of good leaves. So things that I've learned for the next time around, I definitely need to get some nice rich compost. I definitely need to get some maybe worm castings, some things to really like richen up the soil that I'm planting these things in, which I have every intention of doing kind of when I have my own garden and I have like lots of space to garden, maybe some raised beds to build. But for now I'm just kind of, I have pots, so I didn't want to spend a ton of money on soil to grow things in pots and kind of do this whole experiment. So next year, if I do decide to grow more in pots and I'm still at this location, I probably will invest in some better soil. That has been my garden update. I've definitely had some success and some failure, and I just am enjoying the whole process. I really love gardening, seeing things grow from nothing and just learning about it all. So if you have any tips for container gardening or anything like that, or if you are also gardening, let me know how your garden is doing. I'd love to hear from you guys about just your own personal journeys with gardening. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video.